You go outside in your velvet underwear, nice and loose, nice and comfortable, while staring at the sun. You need to bask in the sun's rays, just like Superman or Cyclops or any other bodybuilder that's on Millennial 10-2 on holiday. You go into the sauna for about 10 to 12 minutes, then you hop into the ice bath for 3 to 5 minutes. Sounds like a lot of work, right? Well, that's what I got from the Huberman podcast. Vigorous Steve here with part 4 of the Deep Sleep Deep Dive video series. Steve, why the hell are you wearing a shirt, bro? Let me explain. I did some grass down technique on both of my shoulders, chest and biceps, and now I'm black and blue. Actually, it's not that bad. You can see it right here, but I'm wearing the shirt for the sake of keeping your appetite. What do I want to discuss in this video? I want to discuss the best practices to help you fall asleep as naturally and as good as possible. And this is probably the only video in this video series where you don't really have to spend any money. All you have to do is make some correct choices. Let's go over part 1 and 3 because I saw in the comment section some of your recommendations, which we might be able to cover in part 5, right? If there's sufficient demand. So in part 1, the supplements, we discussed all of these supplements and I completely forgot and omitted something like epigenin or magnesium threonate. So these were your recommendations. Let me know down below your experience with epigenin or magnesium threonate and some of the other options on screen. Right, I want to see some good anecdotal reports that these supplements are actually beneficial to improve your overall sleep quality. Then I'll do some additional researching. Again, I don't have any personal experience with these, but if you have a good personal experience, again, let us know down below in the comment section, and then I'll include them in part 5. And we discussed these drugs and medications in part 2 of this Deep Sleep Deep Dive video series. And I forgot about a couple other ones based on your recommendations. I forgot about Seroquel or Metrazapine or Picamillin and a couple of the other options on screen. And again, if you have good anecdotal experience with any of these compounds, medications, or drugs, please let us know down below in the comment section so I can review your particular case and include this compound in part 5 of the deep dive. And otherwise, if you're simply curious about a particular supplement or medication, let us know down below and I'll get to work. In part 3, I reviewed particular devices, products, and tools which can help you improve your overall sleep quality. I don't think there were any recommendations, so there was a general consensus that the list that I provided was actually good enough. But if you feel that I missed something, put your comments. It will only fuel the algorithm harder. Before we get into part 4, please like the video, leave a comment for the algorithm, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you want to vote for upcoming deep dives or join the weekly Vigorous Q&A, which is always on Saturday, you can do so by becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. In this part, I just want to discuss the best practices, no money required. I'm sure you're all going to spend your money on supplements, drugs, or some of the products which we discussed in part 1, 2, and 3, and potentially again in part 5. So this is a no money spending video. Let's start with what you need to do immediately after you wake up. You go outside in your velvet underwear. It can't be cotton, can't be anything that holds your testicles too close to your body, because your testicles need to be the ideal temperature for fertility, spermatogenesis, and testicular function and testosterone production, right? Wear your velvet underwear nice and loose, nice and comfortable. You go outside. You can use taking out the trash as an excuse. Go outside, get your 20 minutes full body sun exposure in. If the neighbors start complaining, pay them no mind. You just play your favorite music while staring at the sun. You need to bask in the sun's rays, just like Superman or Cyclops or any other bodybuilder that's on Millennial 10-2 on holiday. Bask in the sun's rays to increase your body temperature and get full body sun exposure, modulate your cortisol system, and this way you can get the day started properly. Then immediately after that, increasing your D3 levels, you go into the sauna for about 10 to 12 minutes, then you hop into the ice bath for 3 to 5 minutes, and then you abstain from drinking coffee for approximately 90 minutes to 120 minutes, because otherwise your adenosine blockade from the caffeine is kind of discombobulated. You need to clear this adenosine from your system naturally. Sounds like a lot of work, right? Well, that's what I got from the Huberman podcast. And even though the Huberman podcast is a great source of information, I think you guys come to me for a little bit different advice. So again, I'll list all of the Huberman podcasts down below which discuss sleep, a great resource, but this is not why you came to the Vigorous Steve YouTube channel. You came here for the spicy stuff. So let's just do it in reverse and work our way back from going to sleep all the way down to actually waking up, not while you're sleeping, all the stuff you need to do while you're awake. when you go to bed, you know what helps the most? Not having a guilty conscience. So if you have anything to resolve, do it during the day. If you have bills to pay, do it during the day. If you have an argument with your partner, resolve it during the day. Don't ruminate on it. Don't think about it. Don't procrastinate right before you go to bed, because otherwise these thoughts will circulate in your brain and you will never, ever get a good night's sleep. I don't think anybody ever talked about this. I know this is more like relationship advice or motivational speech, but trust me, dude, if you have things to resolve, do it during the day. Don't think about it when you're going to bed, because that's the time that you should be sleeping. That's the time you should be recovering. That's the time you should be recuperating so you can fix that stuff the next day. And if it's not fixed by the time you go to bed, let it go. I know that's hard. Yeah, that's something that I had to learn in Thailand. But letting it go for your 6 to 8 hours of high quality sleep is probably the best way going forward. Because again, laying in bed all night thinking about particular things that you need to fix doesn't really fix the issue. You're thinking about it, but you can do the same thing as soon as you wake up. You had your cup of coffee and you go to work, you address it, you fix it. Don't go to bed angry or upset or full with guilt. It will literally ruin your night. Then 1 hour before you go to bed, you shut everything down. Work, shut it down. Study, shut it down. Television, shut it down. Video games, shut it down. And I understand that most of these have to do with blue light therapy or just bright lights in general, right? Ideally, you turn all the lights off, whether that is coming from devices or just lighting your house, or at least turn it down to mood lighting. This way you can kind of slowly unwind and relax. What I do, I work until 3 o'clock in the morning. Again, I go to bed at 4, so that's a little bit outside of the normal circadian rhythm, but we'll get to that. Trust me, at the end of this video, at 3 o'clock, I shut it down. No more texting, no more emailing, no more work, no more video games or watching a movie or anything coming from a device. I go downstairs to my cats where it's nice and dark, and I have a 1 hour petting session. That's it. They pet me, I pet them in return. I fall asleep nice and comfortably. I think about particular things that help me relax, right? They're in a relaxed state. I'm in a super relaxed state. And then when they're ready, or when I'm ready, we all walk to the bedroom and I fall asleep like this. Again, no supplements or medications required, but you need to unwind at the end of the day. And whatever your unwinding therapy is or your unwinding strategy, right? That's entirely up to you. My personal recommendation would be 1 hour before you actually want to go to bed, you cut everything off. It's that simple, right? It doesn't matter who wants to call, doesn't matter who wants to pay you. That can wait until the next day. About 4 hours before you go to bed, I would not work out anymore. So you need to finish your workout about 4 hours before you go to sleep. It's very, very difficult for the guys that work during the day. Let's say you work 9 to 5. Then you have about an hour to get to the gym. So let's say you work out from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the evening, including your post-workout cardio or your post-workout posing practice or your post-workout bullshitting at the gym, which doesn't really count as an actual workout unless you're an educator like me and everybody wants to know about particular drugs and they want to get a free consultation in at the end of your workout. Yeah, don't be like me, guys. You spend extra hours at the gym just to answer people's questions. Every day is a Q&A at the Muscle Factory. All right, so you get your workout in, and then you have 2 hours left to kind of unwind and fall asleep. From my personal experience, it's not enough. You're still in this fight or flight state, or at least when you actually train hard. I mean, not everybody trains hard, I completely understand. But if you train hard, your sympathetic nervous system is highly stimulated for the next couple of hours. And you can do meditation, you can take exogenous growth hormone or other sleep aids so you can get into a parasympathetic state faster. You need to rest and digest, and as the name implies, you need to eat first before you go to bed. So I finish my workout about 5 hours before I go to bed, and I have 2 meals afterwards. I finish my workout around 11 o'clock in the evening, which is when most guys actually go to sleep, right? According to your circadian rhythm, nice and dandy. But I go to bed at 4. So I have 5 hours left to get 2 meals in. But it's very, very difficult if you work in 9 to 5 to work out early enough for your parasympathetic state to kind of rest and allow you to fall asleep naturally. Especially if you take a boatload of pre-workout, which is what I mentioned in the Insomnia versus TRT video. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it at the end of this one. Don't take a lot of pre-workout if you want to sleep early. And again, move your workout to the morning. That's ideal. So you have a couple hours to kind of get back into your parasympathetic nervous system. But if you're taking pre-workout with a ton of caffeine or synephrine or DMAE or DMAA, even worse or even more productive, depending on your preference, abstain from a pre-workout containing a lot of stimulants. Go with something like Gorilla Mode Nitric instead, which focuses on the pumps, but doesn't keep you awake for hours on end. And again, like I mentioned before, move your workout to the beginning of the day, which I know is hard. If you're working a full-time job, you'll have to wake up 3 hours earlier, but at least this way, you might be a little bit more sleepy or relaxed during your working hours, but at least you get your workout in the morning, and you can take a pre-workout containing caffeine so you can abstain from your cup of coffee, which you would otherwise have, or combine both for a phenomenal workout, even though that might be a little bit too much vasoconstriction. So you might have to change your schedule all around to get a good night's sleep in. Again, I get my 5 hours of resting and digesting in, 2 meals, then I go to bed with an hour of petting the cats and kind of relaxing before I go to bed. So whatever you have to do, you might need to change your structure of the entire day, get a good routine going, because the routine is essential. We'll get to that after we talk about naps. Everybody always poo-poos about naps, but I think naps are the best thing ever. You just have to give in when your body asks for a nap. A lot of people nowadays, of course, you work a full-time job, you can't really sleep, but if you can negotiate something with your boss, which is what I did, at many of the projects which I had when I was still doing business consulting, I would make sure I get my lunch break in around 1 o'clock. And then instead of sitting there for about an hour chatting with people that I didn't really want to get to know, I would just go sleep somewhere for about 10 to 15 minutes, get my power nap in. And there's always a place in the office where you can kind of relax. And whether that's on the floor on an inflatable mattress, which again, you have to spend a little bit of money, so my sincere apologies. And otherwise you find a couch in the CEO's office or a reclinable desk chair, and whatever you need to do, get your power nap in wherever that might be. 10 minutes, 15 minutes is more than enough. Personally, I take a 1 hour power nap, but I'm in a very luxurious position. I work from home, so my routine is completely tailored to my business model, right? I get as many productive hours as I can in the morning. I do my daily fasted cardio, then I get breakfast in, another meal, I take my nap, 2 more meals, I go to the gym, 2 more meals. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Again, I'm lucky, but if you're not that lucky, you'll have to adjust your routine accordingly to get the most out of your power nap and the most out of the sleep that you have at night. Because again, most of us only get maybe 6 to 8 hours. So you better damn well make sure that you get the best 6 hours or the best 8 hours of your night. The naps, you can do anytime, any place. You'll have to change your schedule, but if you can fit it in, you can make it work. As soon as you feel the need to nap, give in. Just give in. Let it happen. Find a place to relax, nap it off, sleep it off, and that way you get more productive hours in. And you're certainly better off than everybody else that are fighting their naps, their ability to sleep in the afternoon, by taking a boatload of caffeine or other stimulants, right? There's guys out there doing a little bit more than just caffeine to stay awake and stay productive. And otherwise, the regular people, right, they take coffee in the morning, coffee in the afternoon to fight the brain fog and the sleepiness after the lunch break, and then another serving of pre-workout with a ton of caffeine to kind of get through the workout at the end of the day. I mean, how are you going to sleep, dude? How are you going to sleep? You leverage the caffeine and you leverage the naps when it's desired and required, right? Listen to your body and structure your day accordingly. I understand it's not available for everybody or not a possibility for everybody, but it's never too late to change your job. Yeah, there's a lot of job opportunities out there nowadays because the economic crisis is a little bit wishy-washy. So you might be able to leverage a better job where you can actually take a nap or do something from the comfort of your home. Whatever you do, find a routine and stick to it, because your circadian rhythm and your overall routine during the day, you will slowly adapt to it. Right? And this way you can either go to bed at 11 o'clock or what I do 4 o'clock in the morning, which I found to be a lot more productive for my overall business aspirations, because it's nice and quiet at night. And also because a lot of my consultation clients are awake in the Western world, because again, I live in Thailand, so I do most of my consultations in the evening with my European or American clients or people in Dubai, and do my consultations in the morning with the people who live in Australia and Asia. So there's a good overlap to structure my day from 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the morning. But generally speaking, from 11 o'clock, everybody else is going to sleep. So I have still 5 productive hours because it's nice and cool here in Thailand. And it's nice and quiet, no noise pollution, which I do experience during the day. All of those motorcycles and those markets that are on motorcycles advertising all of their products in the middle of the day on the speakerphone, yeah, slightly annoying. So again, find your routine, stick to it, make it work, and don't deviate too much, because this way you always have a set time that you stop whatever it is that you're doing and a set time that you're going to bed, and a lot of time to sort out your shit during the day. And I'll leave it there. Let us know down below in the comment section which supplements you would like me to review, which medications or drugs you would like me to review, which other products, tools, and devices you would like me to include and review. And if I forgot anything in this video regarding best practices, again, post your comments down below. The algorithm will go crazy because it loves comments just like that. And then I'll make a part 5 dropping in about a week or 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find everything that I'm associated with down below in the YouTube description section or on my website, vigoroussteve.com. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at VigorSteve. A front double visor for the Vigorous School. Let me do you a little bit of a favor. Might still need to show the cannons, even though they're slightly traumatized from the grassland therapy. 1 month, no gym. 6 months, no steroids, but the cannons are still there. You know why? Not a guilty conscience when I go to bed. I get all my shit sorted during the day. I'll leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Let's pull this down so you don't feel too disgusted.